check. Yeah, not the next commission check. The commission will come. They will come. It will be a byproduct of you authentically helping people, giving service. If we keep that at the focal point, it's gonna come. It's gonna come, but we have to truly be sincere and authentic in what we do. Don't worry about that. It's gonna come. Okay.
We struggle with that.
I mean,
Every
Been like
time.
that all week.
okay, so it's now we need new batteries.
We just got new batteries a couple days ago. I think you actually got to point it at the screen. I know when Melissa was here, she was pointing it at the screen on this side, and it seemed to like that side.
Okay. All right, who wants to read this affirmation? Cool.
You love people, but at the same time, you haven't yet learned to love hunting for them.
Who feels that way?
Mhm.
Honestly, right. So we all feel that way. I feel that way. I'm sure as agents, the most successful agents out there, some of them feel the same way. Yeah. Some people don't live, breathe, want to get up every morning and make their phone calls, their 1,000 phone calls a day. They don't want to do that. They don't live for that. It's not my favorite thing to do. Not at all. But we have to get our minds right. So it is suggested that we say several affirmations in the morning to get yourself together or before you get ready to pick up the phone and make phone calls. Whatever works for you. Whatever works for you. So John said, going back to whatever works for you. Your name is John, right?
Yeah.
John said that John said something to the effect that he doesn't bluntly ask for business, right? Makes 2 or 3 contexts prior to. Doesn't just go for the direct. In this business, you will find, just like people, everybody does things differently. What works for John doesn't work for Rucker. What works for Rucker doesn't work for Empower Home Richmond. Those are all large teams and they have all different models. Everything doesn't work for everybody. You will find what works best for you. You gotta be true to self and authentic to self. Melissa was here yesterday, Monday, whatever day that was. Didn't she say she don't do open houses? I mean, she don't knock doors?
Mhm.
Do you think John's team is knock doors?
Probably not. I'm there.
I sure they do.
Yeah.
They are MREA, that red book, they go by the red book. A door knocking is a system in the red book. But everything doesn't work for everybody. Melissa is very, very, very social, very social. And she likes parties, things that, she ain't not gonna nobody's door. That's not her style. Wouldn't be true to who she is. She's a super successful agent. That doesn't work for her.
When you say the red book, you're talking about the millionaire real estate agent.
Yeah, that's what we refer to as the red book.
Okay.
Yeah, so every same thing does not, my point is, everything does not work for everybody. And you will find out what works best for you. Some people, you mentioned, calling your circle prospecting. In order to circle prospect, you gotta go get leads, a list of leads. Where do you get the leads from? Do you purchase the leads from somewhere?
Talk specifically to me.
I'm just saying, but yeah, Okay, I'm asking you now, where do you get the leads from?
If I'm being honest, I pull a list from Realist, tax records
Okay,
of people who own their homes making positives.
between 3 to 5 years, people who own their homes for 3 to 5 years, how's that working for you?
It's trying.
Okay, so some people do it the very manual way. It doesn't cost as much because they're doing it manually. She's pulling a list manually. She doesn't have a dialer. You don't have a dialer, right?
I do,
You do have a dialer?
yes.
Okay, huh?
Just call.
Okay, so she has a dialer, but most people buy lists of leads and dollars that are very expensive. And they do it that way, and they sit on the phone for hours and power through. We're talking hundreds of calls per hour. Hundreds. And they time block to make these calls back to back to back to back to back. And they condition themselves, they don't care how many no's that they get. Their goal is to get to the yes. No's mean nothing, they're immune to it, doesn't matter. Right? But some people have signs on their doors that says, do not disturb their lead gen. It means don't knock on that door, don't come through it. This is my lead gen time, this is what I'm doing, period. It's not for everybody. They're serious, they're doing that. Then you have some people like me, I'm very social. I go to events. I go to community events. I belong to different organizations and groups. That's how I get that's one lead source for me. Do I make phone calls? Yes, but they're spirit influence. As a new agent, unless you have money set aside to pay for leads, it is highly suggested that you do not buy leads at this point. Highly suggested. But it's up to you. And with that also, you must be consistent at it. Because it is a quantity activity. You will have to call, again, hundreds of people before you get to a yes. Hundreds. So you are more likely to get a yes. You got a higher probability of getting a yes from somebody who knows you, likes you, and trusts you than some random person that you're calling from a list that you paid for with wrong numbers, outdated numbers. They're hanging up on you. They're treating you like crap, making you feel bad. So, yeah, it is highly suggested that you do not buy leads as a new agent. Okay? All right, the clicker is now working. Let's see. Where are we? All right, so Keller Williams is built on models and systems. So we have to, of course, capture the leads that we get. And we need to do that very, very quickly. Somebody else read this slide for me.
Your number one job is to find ways to get in the path of motivated buyers and sellers.
Okay, and what is the phrase that is referred to? What is your number one job?
Get in the path.
Nope,
Lead generation.
lead generation. Lead generation. That is your number one job. Without leads, you have no what?
Business.
No sales, no business. Mm-mm. You have to get leads. Your lead generation should always be purposeful and intentional. So this slide shows you the system to help make your lead generation more purposeful. We call this the message and message of your lead generation. The 2 M's. And it says follow along in your participant guide. Your message of today need to match the market of today. So whatever message you're putting out in any space, whether it's in social media, and that's how we're making an offer oftentimes and not, it needs to match the market of today. Match the market by tailoring the intended message to the sentiments and market conditions of a target group in the area in which to operate, and have a call to action along with it. So having a call to action, there's something called a MOFR. Have you heard the term MOFR? Anybody? Make, offer for immediate response. How many people use social media or is thinking about using social media as one of their lead gen levers? I can't, raise your hand. Only half the room? Okay, who's not gonna use social media as a lead gen lever? One, only one? Not gonna use social media? Why, Jim?
Well, at least for when I started off, one, I'm not really on social media a lot. I don't necessarily like it, and I want to just focus on outbound prospecting and just door knocking, get good at that. And then once I, get more comfortable doing that and can focus time elsewhere, then I'll maybe start social media. But yeah, I just want to focus on like one thing at a time.
So door knocking is gonna be your primary
Yep, that's the
lead gen
plan.
lever? Okay, okay. I'm gonna challenge you to do 2
Two.
phone calls.
I was thinking about phone calls too, maybe that in the morning and then door knocking at night when
Yeah.
people are actually home.
Phone calls to your sphere. Remember, you wanna start with your sphere, people who know you, like you, and trust you. You're more likely to get business from them because they wanna help you, right? So going out door knocking is kind of similar to getting a list of leads. It's down on that level, not as far down, that's way down there. But, because it's free, give you some exercise, you meet people face to face, it's harder to say no to somebody when they're face to face. However, they're still strangers, right? But people who know you, like you, and trust you, want to help you. So you start with them first. You're more likely to get immediate business from them and repeat and referral business from them first. So I challenge you to consider starting your day with your sphere. Start with them. And plus, they'll make you feel good. You're not gonna get rejected as much
They'll help the mindset.
or as harshly with them. Out in the world, they don't care about you or your feelings. So you don't wanna start your day with them. Okay, Peggy.
I just want to add, and I understand your position on social media. I think a lot of us share a lot of like, social media is a lot, and it's a mess, really, in a lot of ways. But I will tell you, hands down, easiest way to just throw it out there, hey, I'm in real estate, look at me, I can do this, and make your base that, and even just do a business page and announce it. And you'll be amazed at people who come out of the woodwork. Oh, that's awesome, congratulations. And then you build that immediate referral network. And just ask them to share your page. It's so much easier than like For me, it's easier. I'm not gonna say maybe for you, but for me, it's an easier way to cast my net without having to confront or having to ask or have, you know.
I agree.
It's like very much like, I'm just putting it out there, y'all can take it or leave it, but this is where I am and, you know, and then I'm not like being forceful on anyone, I'm just kind of putting it out there. So it's a very easy way to get a lot of those people that you know to help spread the word. I guess is what I'm trying to say.
That makes sense.
That's just my 2 cents on social media. And I think we all have that kind of love-hate with social media. But kind of going at it in a different angle would be helpful. Just to look at it as a business page, business opportunity, and not as you being interactive on any other platforms or whatever that, you know, people put out there.
And what you got?
For the social media thing, I'm not really a social media person either, but I have gotten 3 referrals on TikTok that I was able to refer out when they closed, and I got paid like 3 referrals. So. And that's when I started my page in April, and I've had 3.
That's awesome. Yeah,
It does work.
yeah,
Mhm.
something to consider. Would you say you also have to be consistent?
I've been consistently, when I first started, I was very consistent, at least posting like once or twice a day. But I have taken like breaks in between, but it's more consistent than I have been inconsistent. What I've done with social media, I have to work on like batching my content, so it doesn't feel like doing work. Like thinking about what I'm gonna post every day is a lot, but I feel like if I, you know, create a video, like have a day where I just create content and then post that content every day, that helped when I was batching it.
Have you thought about scheduling the posts?
Yeah, I have to make it a constant schedule.
There's social media calendars out there.
Yeah, but when I do, call myself back and it's maybe like 5, like it's never like a full day. After a while, I've been like over like the content, just in the house and stuff, but I'm gonna get better.
Doing better than me. Yes. So an example of a MOFR is something like, this awesome house just came on the market. If you're looking for a home in this neighborhood, call right away.
You said that's an example of a what?
MOFR, make offer for immediate response. Or, are you looking to sell? Call me now. So you need to have an action in for them to take immediately. You want an immediate response. Okay? And you could just like for example, since we're talking about social media, you could just post a question on there. Like I'm considering the next thing that I'm going to do, and we might touch on this as we go along, is creating a neighborhood Facebook group. And one of those things is gonna be, who lives in the Fairfield district? That's in Henrico County. Who lives in the Fairfield district? Click yes, type yes. That's an immediate response. Okay, so I'm gonna start farming, it's gonna be steps to it. So I'm gonna start farming in the Fairfield district. But I'm gonna create a whole neighborhood page, group page for the Fairfield district.
That's intentional, isn't it?
It's intentional.
Okay.
But this is not something, it's not something that to be honest, I didn't come up with this on my own. There's a phone call that I get on every morning that you might wanna join. It's called Pivot Shift Ahead. It's huge, it's amazing. You have amazing agents from across the country. And I'll somehow share the link, I don't know how to share, but it starts with a Zoom call at 7:30 in the morning.
You said we can shift.
Pivot, shift ahead. It starts at 7:30 in the morning on Zoom. You got agents across the country who share best practices, ideas, and things. And so it starts that way. And then at 8 o'clock, they flip on to Facebook. And so you got mega agents, millionaire agents, agents who's only been in the business for a little time, and brand new agents, all sharing best practices from across the country. So that was the idea that I got from Pivot Shift Ahead. So basically, and it's a long game lead generation tool, lever, but you start by creating this group where you want to take market share in that neighborhood or that community. So everybody knows you as the agent, but you're giving value because you created a page. You have all the business owners come into the page. You're giving all the news about the schools, the upcoming event. Now you have to nurture and feed this page. You have to work this page. But who's the owner? And they know I'm the owner. Right. Yeah. So, but my MOPR is, who lives in the Fairfield district? Type yes. So that's the immediate response. So that's something that you can do. Any questions about MOPRs?
I got, a lot of questions about this, because the dots are connecting.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you're saying, okay, so our MOPR, that's our call to action, that's our immediate call to action, so I could say, who lives in Twin Hickory? And when I receive those responses, that's my lead pool.
That's just starting a conversation, yeah.
Okay, so then I create the group. And inside the group, that's where I'm sharing different things that are happening in the community. I'm introducing the business owners. Like you said, I'm feeding the page, I'm adding value. What does that value look like? Like, I mean, I guess as a.
That's it, that's the value.
Gotcha.
And then you can go and you can do different things, like, okay, you go out and you meet business owner, here goes content for you. Every week, you go meet the business owner, you go to their business, you do a social media, a video at their business and you wanna meet the owner. Right, it's nice to meet the workers, that's nice, eventually you meet the workers, but your goal is to meet the owner, because you wanna pass referrals business to business. Right. You say, hey, I'm the realtor in the neighborhood, and I created this page, I'm gonna highlight your business, for one thing. So everybody is now knowing about your business, I'm gonna highlight it, but I'd also like to pass referrals to you, and you can pass referrals to me. This is my information, this is your information, and now you have a business-to-business referral partnership. Yeah, so that's the value. So you provided value to your business-to-business partner, and you provided value to your neighbors.
And then my business partners, they can go on and post things that they're having.
And you're the administrator.
Ooh.
You the administrator. I'm not, mine is not gonna be carte blanche. I mean, I might let it, you can post, but I decide what's gonna go on and what's not. No other realtors posted on my page.
That makes sense.
No. It's my page. You don't like it, too bad.
Gotcha.
Create your own.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, you could set the settings where the admin decides, yeah, what goes on. So they can try to post. So you can decide, yeah, you can post. Just don't fit the criteria. Sorry. Try again. Right. So you wanna do possibly charitable events, what's going on? You know, the fall is coming, you got the pumpkin picking this and blah, blah, blah. You know, what's going on in the schools, you got elections coming up. Keep it totally bipartisan because you don't wanna do that, but yeah, it's a lot. You can do a lot with it. And you don't have to do, that's just my idea that I'm sharing with you. You don't have to do a group thing. You could do it super small. You could just do a neighborhood. You could, lots of things you could do. But my suggestion is go find Pivot Shift Ahead. If I have your email addresses, I can send you the link for the Zoom call that starts at 7:30. Facebook, everybody can get on at 8. But you get on there, you ask questions, you share best practices, it's amazing. Okay? Anybody else with MOPRs? Or just something else that came to my head, because we should be listing driven. It could be something as Who's thinking about downsizing or upgrading in the next 3 to 6 months? Say yes or no, or when are you gonna downsize, in the next 3 months or 6 months? So you get that question has to have an answer. Is it going to be in 3 months or 6 months? So whoever responds, if they respond 3 months or 6 months, oh, you better be following up with them. They told you that they are going to downsize or upsize or do something with their house in 3 months to 6 months. Who is thinking about selling or buying in the next 3 to 6 months or 1 year? You need to respond to each one of them. If they say me, they're raising their hands, telling you they are. You need to be responding to them. So that's just via social media. Okay, so now we know about Mulford. All right, so we talked about, same one. Oh, no, I'm not tech savvy. Okay. So when you're truly on the hunt for leads, we discussed that there are many different methods to find opportunity for leads. There are leads everywhere, including in restaurants, every single where. You could be in a coffee shop, a couple might be talking about an open house they just went to. You have to have a listening ear all the time. So I made mention to you about how important your listening skills are. So you're listening, I would say listening skills are more important than your speech. More important, you gotta listen attentively. So your first approach, you need to be able to start conversations. Yeah.
And can you also remind them about these conversations about profit share and?
I may mention, but
Did you
somebody
already?
wanna enlighten, I'm gonna let somebody else do it. Who wants to tell Patrice
Because I
about
was
our
gonna say,
conversation
Katie-
about profit sharing?
Katie had a conversation with somebody at a restaurant and then he was gonna get his license and I know we're Shane, they're Shane.
It was them.
That was-
It was the two of them.
Did you already?
Wait, no, Patrice, here's an example. Shane, tell Patrice what happened.
No, okay.
No, you're gonna hear it. You're gonna hear it.
So I was, waiting on, it was a group, it was, Maria.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. When you were just,
Listen,
I know the story.
listen.
Well,
Okay.
I saw her name tag and I went.
Her, who's the her?
Tara. And I was like, you work for Keller Williams? And she said, yeah, you wanna buy or sell a house? And I was like, no, I actually wanna get into real estate. And, she's like, well, here's Maria, our like
Yeah,
person.
awesome. See, it works there.
But I went deeper. Who wants to expand on how I went deeper with that?
Talked about missing the opportunity and actually active listening and helping people. Because she missed the opportunity for him to be, or for her to be his sponsor.
Like, I didn't
Because she didn't.
nurture
You didn't
that. I
nurture
just like passed along. Yeah, I think he was really good here, but never do that. So I told him never do that.
Yeah,
Really just.
yeah. But it's just like, with your sales, come from contribution, right? When you really want to share all the fabulousness with somebody, then it's genuine and you're coming from contribution. But I've talked to people when I travel, right? You could be anywhere. So make sure you're also telling people who's thinking about getting in real estate and have good things. Thank you, sorry. Have fun.
Right, okay. All right, so in having conversations with people, how do you start the conversation? Like, does anybody have angst or feeling kind of nervous about, how do we get these conversations started?
I think for me, like, it's just normal conversation first, like, hey, how you doing? Like, what are you into? Like, that kind of stuff, like, nothing to do with real estate for the first couple minutes.
Okay,
And if it happens to go there, like, or something, maybe like, when they're talking about what you do for a living, and they can say, oh, well, or they might ask, like, well, how's the market going right now, that kind of thing. And you can kind of say, well, here's kind of what I'm seeing, that kind of stuff. But I don't think I'd ever come out and just say, hey, buy a house. It's more like, more organic, more natural, conversation at first. And then kind of say, okay, well, if you happen to look at them, if you know somebody looking, then please let me know, and I'd help them out.
Patrick.
For me, I've had a hard time, I have no problem having the conversation. I'm a people person, so I can talk all day long until they imply that they need something, and I can't really decipher how to help them if they're not asking me directly to be their realtor, or they're not, just jump right in like, hey, I'm looking at this or whatever. Like, I'm not really sure how to convert the conversation. So I get stuck. It's almost like I run from business or something. I don't know. Like, I'm running from confidence.
I hear that, that's real though.
I don't know what it is. I've missed a lot of opportunities, I feel, that I probably could have, jumped on or been a little more, aggressive, assertive, maybe.
Yeah.
And confident in.
Yeah, that comes with confidence, that's a lack of confidence.
So I need to work on that. Big time.
Okay.
I'm the same way, it's just trying to figure out, like, I can call you and we can talk and have a great conversation. I gotta figure out how to spot the appropriate time to throw it in, or speak to it. 'Cause, I was calling Spirit the other day and it's like, okay, we're having this great conversation. Now it's time to get salesy, and it just doesn't feel right. It feels weird trying to ask for business in this conversation when I just sometimes don't feel like it fits.
Okay, anybody?
I'll tell you one thing I did the other day. I was doing an open house on Saturday, with Ashley actually. And people had invited, in a group text, they invited everyone over. Not everyone in that group text knew that I was in real estate yet. So I said, I'll be there, but I have an open house first. So then when I ended up showing up there, a lot of people were like, what do you mean open house? And I was like, oh, well, I've switched careers, I'm in real estate now. And that started a whole conversation. Because I just put it in a group text, I've got an open house that I'm working right now, but I'll be there later.
Okay.
So, just like you said, these opportunities come up and you didn't realize that was an opportunity until it presented itself. I had a similar situation where I was helping my daughter move into her new apartment, and I pulled up and a guy was out washing his car in front of his house, and I just, because I'm goofy, I said, hey, you wanna do mine next? Just kind of as a little joke, and he was like, And then we started talking, and I'm like, is this your house? And he goes, yeah, and then he started telling me he was thinking about retiring and selling, and I said, oh, well, I'm a real estate agent, and then I gave him my card, so it was like, all of a sudden, we were connected that way, just from a silly little interaction. But now my job is to go back and door knock. And actually, because I was a little reluctant, he said, you want to come in and see the house? And I'm like, not right now, but I'm busy, because I was trying to be safe, just thinking that might not be a safe scenario. But now that I've initiated that, I'm like, now my next step is to door knock and introduce myself again and follow through. But there are opportunities out there everywhere, honestly. The least expected, and I was not dressed as a real estate agent. I was in movie clothes.
But that's almost disarming, that's almost better sometimes.
Yeah,
In your normal.
well, it's honest
Like in
and
the
it's
gym or something,
authentic.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's the key, I think, is the authenticity, like really showing who you are right from the start, and then your trust wall is broken down already where, they're like, oh, you're a real person. You're not just trying to sell them.
Anybody else have anything?
I loved the TV show New Amsterdam, and the medical director had a motto, he had a phrase, how can I help? And I've kind of taken that on in a variety of iterations. what do you need help with? How can I help you? And find that people respond to that. And then you can kind of get more information, but I'm also coming at it with a real sense of wanting to
A
help.
genuine sense.
I mean, it's genuine.
And people will sense that, and they will keep coming back for help. Like, I've got a friend, she called me the other day, and she's like, hey, I got this idea, I wanna bounce it off you, because she knows, like, if we're talking, it's about, I wanna help, I wanna do whatever I can to help you. So that's real, like, people will sense that, and they'll remember that, oh, Kiki's down to help, so let me give you her information, if you want about how she wanna help you.
Does anybody online have anything to add? I don't want to forget about you guys. Anybody? Have any angst about trying to get to the conversation? Anything?
Tara, I think someone already mentioned it, but I think that's for me the same thing. Like, I enjoy talking with people, but like, I'm curious about what are some leading questions that can kind of, as a realtor, we are the kind of leader of the conversation. So how can we subtly, without being like really obvious, lead the conversation or kind of introduce ourselves without making it awkward? Like, what are some things, like, how can we, can we ask about where someone lives and start talking about the area? Like, is that too obvious? Or, like, what's a good way to do that?
So
Conversation to realty.
So it depends, for me, it depends on the setting that you're in. Are you making phone calls? So
Like,
when
in
I'm
person, if we're to meet someone in a natural setting, on a hike at the restaurant, or like, like a hike, or if you're meeting with a group of people, but they're not necessarily friends, they're more acquaintances.
Okay, so like this wonderful gentleman said, for me, it just comes up in conversation. You just having conversation, you meet somebody, say, hey, how you doing? What do you do for a living? That conversation, that simple, how's the family? Where do you live? How's your family? And then they ask you, what do you do for a living? As soon as they ask you, what do you do for a living? That's it. When you get to the, what do you do for a living? That's a general conversation. And then when you said, how's the market? That's the natural response. How's the market? What's the reply to that?
It's great.
No.
That's when my brain goes left and I don't know what to say.
No, because when you say it's great, that shuts the conversation down. That's it.
Don't you just say that? Why do you ask?
Why do you ask? Why do you ask? Your response to how's the market should be, why do you ask? Or if you could find something similar to that, why do you ask? Why do you ask and why do you ask? What's the reason? What's the what behind the why?
What's the motivation?
There you go. Your goal is to find the motivation. They're asking you for a reason. If they didn't care, they wouldn't ask you, how's the market?
I do have people sometimes that are literally just asking for conversation. So how do you handle?
How do you know that? Don't assume. Because they haven't told you, that don't mean the other realtor that knows how to ask the right questions is not gonna put them in a house or sell their house.
Okay.
Don't assume. You can't assume anything. You can't assume that they're doing that. You can't assume how much money they have. You can't assume their credit score. You can't assume. You can't assume by looking at someone. No, you have to be an investigator.
What if they say, I'm just curious?
Why are you curious? What makes you curious? What interests you about the market? Go 3D. You have to ask for a reason. What interests you about the market? I'm just curious why you're curious. Yeah.
You can also turn it back on them and say, well, I'm really curious to know what people outside my sphere are thinking about the market. I'm curious to hear your opinion of it, because it makes me a better realtor, makes me understand more what areas I need to focus on.
Get them talking. You want to find their motivation. That's your job. Okay, so any other ideas as to how you can have that conversation when you're out and about talking to people or on the phone? Say you're calling, you gotta make your calls for the day. How many calls should we be making in a day?
10 contacts.
10 contacts. So when you're calling your people up, what you saying? You don't wanna be that direct and just say, hey, I'm calling you, I wanna, you wanna buy a house? What are you saying?
I mean, I guess to start, we used the 4 models, talk about the family, how's everything going, what you've been up to. And then after we get out of the necessities, for what I've started doing, because my goal is to be intentional. After we get the niceties out of the way, we say, hey, you know, I'm just calling to see what your plans are in the next 3 to 6 months as it relates to real estate. Just because I have to be intentional, otherwise we'll be on the phone for 45 minutes and I won't get anything accomplished.
Okay, so why don't you two guys role play that out? I mean, we gotta do it, you gotta do it. Role play
Okay, I
it
guess
out.
I'm gonna be the agent.
Yeah,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good, Mark, how you been doing?
I've been good.
That's good to hear, how's the family?
Been good, yeah, got the kids in college and just trying to pay for that.
Oh, good, I saw your pictures on Facebook, your son moved in, that's exciting, was he nervous?
A little bit, yeah.
I can imagine. Well, Mark, I'm not gonna hold you too long, I was just calling, because I wanted to see, what are your plans for real estate in the next 3 to 6 months?
We're pretty much holding tight right now, but, you know, maybe a couple of years from now.
Okay. That's completely understandable. Do you have any friends or family who you think may be interested in looking in the next year, 3 to 6 months?
Potentially, my mom might be looking down there.
Okay, that's great. Well, I would love to be a assistant for her. Would you mind giving me her contact information so I'm sure I can get in touch with her and see if I can help?
Sure.
Thank you.
okay. What went well in that call? Thank you for doing that, by the way.
I'm sweating now.
No need to sweat, we all friends here.
That was really
Yeah, that was really
good.
good, we're all friends here, no need to sweat. So what went well? What would
Very
the,
natural, I feel like it's a very natural conversation.
what you got, Freddie?
Making a strong connection, I think the most important is asking about the family, make sure they're well, and then, just be short, simple, and direct, and, well, I was gonna say eye contact with it, that was kind of first.
Right.
And then she noticed something on Facebook yesterday.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You know, like I'm keeping track of like your family and you and.
The best part was that he answered the phone.
That's always scary too, because then they call back and you're not prepared for the call, right? It's like a deer in headlights.
What could she have done to improve that call? How could that call went differently?
So I think for me, like just listening, would he have already known that you're a realtor, right? So that would have just been like, just wanted to let you know that I'm now doing real estate and just for sake of that, would he have known? Okay, right, that was just my take from the conversation.
Yeah, it's definitely a different conversation if they know you
Right.
already and they don't know that.
That's true.
Okay, what else? Any other feedback?
Well, this is a good, not a thing to improve. I like how you ask for her information instead of having him tell her, because we all know that anything never ends in a contact. So I think that's really smart.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not gonna be too long, I was like, I don't feel like doing that out right now. I was like, we'll fill it out. Sure.
I don't give my mom's info out.
Exactly. So if you want people calling.
So 2 things I'm gonna suggest. So we heard that they have children going to college. So with the children going to college, I would ask, oh, so this is his first year, second year, what year are they in? Oh, so you'll be an empty nester soon, when? Uh-huh. That might lead into something. Mhm. Right?
So
Again, listening.
Keywords.
Keywords, college, kids leaving,
Got it, okay.
right? Might make some other plans. How long have you been in your house? plenty of equity. Smith family's getting smaller. And then he did tell you that his mom might be doing something. You asked for her information, but she didn't say when. When do you think she might be doing something? Why is she doing something? What's the motivation for her to be doing something? Yeah, you want to get as much intel as you can so that you can make a connection with him and then her, so you can call her and say, hey, you got some things going on. You've gotten her contact information, that's great. But what's gonna give you the competitive advantage when some other realtor calls her? You're already connected to her.
Right.
You know the son, you know why she's moving, and you know a time frame.
And maybe ask where she coming from, because then she'll be moving down here.
Oh,
Or where
okay.
she moving from.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
You
opens
find
up
out
the
if
door
it's
for
like-
her to
it
sit
could
on
be
that
like
house.
North Dakota, or it could be like Fredericksburg.
right,
Okay.
Or if she's moving in with him.
Right.
Right.
Like where he lives, because, you know, she didn't really close to where he lives. Out there, okay, so.
Okay, I see. Yeah, because I mean, when you mentioned that she was moving down that point, like I said, it opens up to a referral. Like she has this house that she needs to sell, an agent in her market, I can refer and I'll get that as a referral. Gotcha, okay.
yeah. So it's 10:30. We've talked about a lot, but it don't look like we're gonna get to everything we need to. So yeah, I want to take a quick break. Let's take a quick break. We'll take 5 minutes and come back. We got a lot more to cover. 5
How are you?
I'm doing good, how are you?
Hanging in there, I'm getting back in the saddle.
Yeah. Working at a time.
Yeah, it just, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, just
normal. Yeah.
I hate to say normal. I don't know.
Well, I know, yeah, what is
Nothing
normal?
has been going on the last couple of years, so I don't know.
One day at a time, it's all good, and good to be back in here whenever I can.
Yeah.
My office, my home, oh my gosh.
Is that fun?
Last time I was here, my name, it's like,
If you might can find it, right?
it's amazing what shows up.
Well, good for you, Dave.
Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Mm.
Hey, Dad. I wanted to know, do you want any schedule where they can do some social media content creation together? Okay. Cause I can show them. If I can do it by myself, it's not gonna be enough. This is perfect.
I'm gonna be out of town next week.
So I think tomorrow.
See you there tomorrow.
Yeah, in the.
I mean, you can wait till I get back.
Yeah.
Okay. I know that all next week I'll be out of town. We already get me in there.
Yeah, we can like meet at like, a model room or just like content like that.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. You don't know which one. What's that name?
I'm like social.
You don't get it. I'm on this side.
That's fine. I can come down here. I haven't really just taken my own.
Okay, well, yeah, that's fine. I really wanna do my content creation.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I don't really talk to myself.
That's fine, but in the meantime, do you have a TikTok?
Yes.
You know, you don't have to do that right now, you can just go and like, see what ideas.
Oh, yeah, like save real and save sound and stuff. I've been doing a lot on Instagram saving, but I think I got more confidence on TikTok than I do on.
It was easy for me to sell on TikTok because I don't know, like nobody I do was following me.
Right.
So I basically just built my audience. I don't have a whole lot of followers, but it's very nobody I know, but like, you know, what Instagram, Facebook, I don't know everybody. So it was easier for me to come on TikTok.
Okay, then in the same boat, I'm using all of that on TikTok at all. So I can be myself and be able to naturally be on Instagram.
Yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
TikTok, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah. Hold on, right. It'll work. Anybody else that y'all want, y'all more than welcome. Okay. I just talked to you because you don't have, you don't know that team.
Okay.
All right, I got it, I'm marking, thank you.
All right, we're gonna have to go ahead and get started, cause we gotta get to a whole nother section. And, time is of the essence, we are missing how many? 2, 3, 4.
She's taking up a lot, so I don't know.
Okay. All right. Somebody wanna read this quote for me?
Lead generation is a contact sport with simple rules. It means making contact with people through prospecting and marketing.
All right, does that mean anything to anybody? Oh,
That is a contact sport with simple rules, stands out to me. Because a lot of this stuff is simple, you don't really have to overthink it, you just kind of stick to the script, so. You know, it says to make the contact through prospecting and marketing, so we talked about prospecting and marketing, so it's just.
And contact sport sticks out to me because make the contact. You gotta actually pick up the phone and talk to people.
do it. Just actually do it. Be intentional. Contact people. Do it consistently. Consistency.
That part. Consistency is the name of their night.
It's key. It is key. Absolutely. All right. You seen
Didn't change.
Come on. Okay. You've seen this chart before. Everyone you know and every lead you prospect is somewhere on this graph, somewhere. The question is, are they at the top of the graph? Are they at the bottom or somewhere in between? Everyone's timelines and life experiences are different. It's your job to do your best to predict where they are always. What's this graph talking about? Anybody know? No?
It's almost like a timeline for when people move. Like if you moved here, then yeah, you got 7 to 10 years between your next move, but all of this stuff in between that move is happening.
Yes.
And it's our job to kind of keep up with it.
Yes. Your likelihood of the time in which you're gonna move over the studies have shown that most people, will move within a 7 to 10 year time span. And it's up to us to keep up with everyone that we know, every lead that we come in contact with, okay? And how do you do that?
Followers.
How do you keep up with everyone you know and every lead you come in contact with?
Call them.
Just call them?
Put them on a smart plan.
Different ways of touching it, so what is it, 10 touches?
Huh?
10 touches, I don't know, is that applies? I don't know.
So leads are 19 touch and contacts are 36.
Okay.
All right. Prospecting versus marketing. You saw this in session 5, and here it is again to remind you of the 2 methods of lead generation. prospecting versus marketing, and your business should be prospecting based and marketing enhanced. Anybody know why that is? Well, I'll tell you, because prospecting is essentially free. We want free as much as possibly it can be. And there's several reasons for that. Number one is because it's free. Number two, as fairly new agents, like I said, you don't want a whole lot of expenses. You want to build your business off of people that know, like you, and trust you. You want to build that solid foundation of people who know you, like you, and trust you. They're going to be more highly likely to refer you repeat business than some stranger who you don't know. And it is free. So you want to build, just like with a house, the foundation is what, the strongest part of the house, right? So you want to build your foundation based on prospecting, okay? You enhance with the pretty stuff, the marketing, the stuff that costs. At Keller Williams will teach you how to run your business, spark businesses. I am an MBA. I've learned through my education that you keep expenses low in order to maximize profits, okay? So you don't want to spend a whole lot of money on pretty things, shiny objects that don't maximize your profits, okay? Any questions about that? And you all know that they're saying we're headed into a recession, so it's more important now than ever that you really manage your expenses and really be frugal and mindful of your expenses. All right, so with prospecting, again, this is in the MREA. I meant to grab my book. But in the MREA, how many people have a copy yet? If you do not have a copy, it is highly suggested that you get a copy. If you haven't made the investment yet, the library has them for you to check out for free. At RAR, you can go to RAR and check out books. Also, if you don't know about that resource, you can get it. You can use RAR for Audible. It's not Audible, but you can listen to their version of Audible. So it's something that you might want to go ahead and download and start listening to now. It is very value added. We call it, it's like our Bible. We live by the MREA. But there are 2 pages here of other lead generation levers. So top agents have 3 to 4 main lead generation levers. So everybody's heard the term, you can't put all your eggs in one basket, right? Mm-hmm. And you should also diversify your portfolio. So this is kind of us diversifying our portfolio. And these are just some of types of lead generation levers. 1 should be a non-negotiable for you guys until you have become a more experienced agent, is making your 10 calls at minimum per day. Period. You should do that. Anything else is extra. But you should definitely be making 10 calls per day.
Now, let's say you have, I don't know, 100 people in your database.
What's your database? What is it? Who said you got a database? What does that consist of?
I guess your contacts.
Define it to me.
Contacts. in their information.
It's not in the database yet. That's your contacts in your
Yeah.
phone.
And you would.
So you have a database. You have a database. I mean, you might.
Well, from what was uploaded from my contacts.
Okay, so somebody uploaded it. Okay. Okay,
So let's say there's 100 in there.
yes.
So if you're doing 10 calls a day, that's 10 days you're gonna go through that, right? And but you gotta call them again like a week later, 10 days later, right?
So you, in your entire phone, you only had 100 people.
Well, it's more than that. It's like, I think it was like 150. It's a lot. So the phone had my wife's contacts in there too, and some of them I don't
Yes,
have any relationship with,
yes.
that kind of stuff.
Okay. Were you gonna say something?
No, sorry.
Okay. This is something that I learned when I first came to Keller Williams and went to Bold. Two things. Number one, you have social media.
Mhm.
How many friends you got on Facebook?
I don't know, 400, 500, something.
There goes your next.
Right.
That's next.
So once you finish with your phone, now go to your Facebook. Once you
Get them
finish
into,
Facebook,
get them into command.
Right.
So you start DMing them, hey, how you doing? Da, 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 da. You gotta get their phone number. You need complete contacts. Phone number, email. So the first contact may be to try to get a phone number or a email. You need one or the other. You need to start getting data to get them, to make them a contact.
That's it's funny, because I have pieces of a lot of people, like either phone number or
It'll take
email
a while
address.
to get complete. You do database cleanup all the time. Yeah, all the time. And then, after you do that, start making a list. You said your kids belong to group,
In college. Yeah.
whatever it is. Groups, doctors, lawyers. Start naming stuff. Your vendors, all your vendors, plumbers. You're gonna need this anyway to refer out. Start making lists. You got kids, your PTA people, your soccer parents. Start making church members, any groups and affiliations that you're in, sororities, fraternities. Start making lists. Start going to these group affiliate events. Start going. You need contacts.
How are you organizing your list? Are you like,
That's up to you. Where you wanna start?
probably PTA?
So you got a parent, you got kids?
Yeah,
Easy,
yeah.
easy.
At the book fair tomorrow.
Easy. PTA, that's huge.
Yeah.
PTA is huge. If you're not on the board, get on the board. Get on that board.
Mhm.
From there, you, principal, assistant, go through the staff,
Okay, I do.
through the staff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm,
Okay,
and then expand out.
okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's easy. Yeah. So just start thinking about who do I interact with every day? And start making this, I need to be these are my contacts. Yeah, oh, wow. Yeah, I got people. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? If you do community, I'm a community service fanatic, that's what I do. So, any community service that you do. If you live in an apartment complex, people in your apartment complex, is that somebody wanting to say something? Anybody want to add to a source that I'm missing? Maybe they let somebody in. Anybody see something up here? And I see something, the managers at the banks, if you go inside of a bank or you have a relationship with a bank, make sure the manager, the branch manager, you built a relationship with the branch manager and the loan officer. You need a loan officer on your immediate team. You pass referrals back and forth to them. If you went to college, you have an alumni association that, you participate. Chambers, Chamber of Congress, make sure you're participating in that. Let's see. Here's another list. Now, these, not the same one, here it goes. Okay, I just changed it. These are, paid opportunities.
This green.
This marketing, it didn't change. Sorry. This is marketing. Marketing. In October, we're gonna do business planning clinic. Now, you can decide if you wanna do this now, spend some money if you like. Totally up to you. If you put money aside to do some marketing, and you feel like you're gonna get a bang for the buck, if you're gonna have a return on the investment, you wanna take the risk, totally up to you. If not, in October, we're gonna have our business planning clinic, and our business planning clinic is where we create our business plans for 2024. Each year in October, we create our business plans for the next year. That's where we set up our goals for how much money we plan to make. It is very intentional and strategic, so we don't just pull something out the air. Most agents say, oh, I wanna make $100,000. It's the general number, $100,000, that's general number. No, it's really based on how much money do you need to live, what's realistic? How much money do you need to live? You need to come with that. So remember, Tara told you, right now, prepare. You need to know how much money do you need to live? What's your mortgage, lights, gas? What's your basics that you need to live? Your other expenses, your debts that you have to pay, your leisure, whatever. Get your budget prepared for the year, so you know that number. And then we're gonna talk about our expenses, business expenses, what that looks like. That's like 30% of your income, and then taxes is like 30%. So that number is a crazy number. If you think $100,000 is not nothing. $100,000, your net is actually about $40,000. And then let's talk about what Keller Williams is gonna take. That's a whole nother situation. Okay? So, $100,000 is not, more than likely not the number you're looking for. So in the business planning clinic, we'll talk about those numbers and how many contacts you will need to make to go on, how many appointments you need to go on to get you, how many units you need to sell to get to that number that you will need at the end of the year. That's what the business planning clinic is all about. So with that, your expenses, your marketing will be included in your expenses. So you will have to decide how much money you want to spend on marketing and what type of marketing that you want to invest in. It's an investment in you, it's an investment in your business. But what is going to give you the biggest bang for your buck at this stage of business? I mean, this stage in your business. Radio? I wouldn't do it, but somebody might. Social media ads might be something you might want to invest in. Social media ads might be something you might want to invest in prior to investing in visible leads or direct mail. They say that direct mail is a very, very low return on investment. And it's something that you have to do consistently. If you're not sending postcards every month, it's a long game. If you're not sending postcards every month, you're not gonna see that return on investment. So are you willing to spend the money on postcards? $1,000 one time and your $1,000 is gone? Could you better spend that $1,000 on Facebook ads and get a hit quick? Something to think about something to do the research and find out if in the first year or two of you being in business, do you want to spend money on this type of market, any of this, and how do you want to do it? Okay, any questions about that? Thoughts, questions? Again, if you didn't take a picture of those 2 slides, they are in the MREA. And anybody, if you're online and you have a question or something to add, just unmute yourself. I'm sorry. So there are sources that use both prospecting and marketing. Open houses are an example of a lead gen lever that uses both prospecting and marketing. So it is highly suggested that you market an open house very, very heavily prior to the open house, leading up to the open house, if you want it to be as effective as it can be. So today, of course, people are marketing open houses via social media. So for my John here, who doesn't want to use social media, in order to get the most visibility for your open house, social media, people are on, when somebody's looking for a house, what's the first place they go to?
Zillow.
Yeah, Zillow. They're going to social media. Before they contact a realtor, they're going to Zillow. Social media. They're looking for houses on social media. So if you're not there, they are. Sorry. Yeah, might want to rethink that, but yeah. I'll be hiring soon, so, no, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I will be, but you might want to rethink that. You gotta do it, or hire somebody else to do it. If you don't want to do it, hire somebody to do it. We believe in leverage around here. So, like I said, it's very, very important that that open house is marketed very, very heavily prior to, so that it can be successful. So you want to market it via social media, you want to have top agents. I just came from, well, not just, in August, I went to what's called Mega Camp. Here at Keller Williams, we have 2 major conferences every year, one in August and one in February. And the very top agents attend these conferences and from across the world. So we are a global organization, and they share best practices, and you go to workout or breakout sessions and listen to the best practices from agents across the world. And it is highly suggested that you put signs everywhere nowadays. So in the last couple of years, literally you could put a for sale sign on the house and it would sell, it didn't matter. It's not like that anymore. You have to now work in order to sell a house. You have to work. You have to market it. And so they're suggesting that signs are everywhere. Everywhere. 1 million signs. And we're going back to things of back in the days where balloons were everywhere. Signs and balloons. Everywhere. People have to see this house and want to come to this house. You have to showcase this house, attract people into the house.
Yeah. I have a question. So if you are just hosting the open house for the listing agent, would you be the person to, do the balloons, the signs, if you see that they haven't done that?
Totally up to you.
Yeah.
It's, are you going above and beyond? What is your goal?
Right.
What is your intention? Is your goal to be the realtor of choice?
Mm-hmm.
When I was in corporate America in leadership, prior to becoming a leader, I was told to dress for the part that you want to have. So I liken it to that. Be intentional. Do you want to be a realtor of choice for the area? Do you intend to have listings everywhere? You're gonna need the signs anyway. Do you want to be the agent that listing agents call and say, I have this great open house, this great, that got $1 million property, and I can't be there, but you do them so well. I know it's gonna be a plethora of opportunity. You come prepared. And you're gonna need the signs. So
So that's something that we should be like, just, you know, kind of getting our little, like, you know, marketing together.
Yeah.
And it can be, you know, inexpensive, but just making sure we're keeping our signs in our trunk
And generic open house signs are just open house. I got mine from Amazon, 25 in a pack. Amazon open house. You don't have to get the market customized to you yet.
Right.
No, this is the red open house signs. But it's, and they're fairly inexpensive.
Yeah.
I got mine from Bogus for like $5.
Yeah, I have some, so I was asking because the open house that me and Mark did over the weekend, I guess it was like some graphic communication as far as like what was gonna be there. Going like into it, we spoke, and she was saying that she was gonna leave things in the closet. So I came totally unprepared. But I was telling Mark, I said, going forward, I need to have my stuff with me, like in the trunk, I need to just be riding around with it, you know, in my bag, have like some flyers, print it out, and not really solely depend on
That
So,
the patrons coming into the open house doesn't know
right,
what your role
Right.
is.
right,
You are a realtor.
right,
Your goal is to get a lead
yeah.
that is going to result in a closed sale, right? You need to dress and act the part.
Yeah,
Be intentional, be prepared. Do what you gotta do, and go ahead and get your stuff.
right.
Yeah. I would. And then again, when that $1 million listing comes up, $500,000, they come to look at those houses. Why? Because they're interested in $1 million house. They're interested in a $500,000 house. Who's prepared? You prepared? Yeah.
Okay, and then also, I'm sorry. if I'm-
No, you're not, no.
But so like as far as the marketing for it, so like as the whole, like I guess I just wanted to make sure I understood my position as posting it. So, you know, I'm posting on social media and stuff, so can I do enough for that? Like, what else can I do?
Absolutely.
To, like, help promote it?
Do you want to buy
I thought that you were stepping on toes. I didn't know, you know, I just wanna know the rules and play the game right.
Can I touch on that? So the way I look at it, you can correct me if I'm wrong, any marketing efforts I do that brings a buyer, that's an opportunity for me to connect with that buyer. And if that buyer is unrepresented, now I'm the buyer's agent. I've done the work and, you know, I've connected and tried to connect those guys. So I would say like, yeah, own that role, like, own it.
That's a real big lesson.
So totally own it. I would give the listing agent the courtesy and say who was Melissa. Hey, Melissa, I'm calling to touch base with you to make sure that we're on the same page and I understand the direction for your open house on Saturday. But what is your marketing plan? Ask her, what's the marketing plan? Are you planning to door knock before? No, you're not? Cool. Are you planning? What are you planning? Do you have a flyer prepared?
Right.
If you have a flyer prepared, I'd love to get a copy of that beforehand. And when do you think I can get it? When do you plan to put your directional signs out? Will it be out on Wednesday? Will it be out on Friday? What is your plan? What is your marketing plan?
Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, she tells you, she might say, oh, you go ahead and do it.
Yeah.
Right, you got time, good, perfect opportunity from the other, so we capitalize on that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, just make sure you touch base with whoever it is and get their marketing plan, their strategy, and then you might give them the courtesy and let them know. But what you should do, for sure, is give a full report as to what happened afterwards.
Right.
Full and complete. And oh, by the way, I got 2 buyers and 3 listings. Thank you for letting me know that.
Yeah.
But we got 2 offers coming for you, lady. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the best win-win for all of us.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely,
Thank you.
absolutely. Anybody else? Okay, cool. Y'all finding this value added?
Absolutely.
Cool. All right, see what else we got. As I'm watching this clock. All right, ahas. Any ahas?
I think that was just an aha for me, because we kind of worked out together. We both talked a lot about like,
Yeah.
you know, like if it's not our listing, but we're there, like, how should we approach it? But that kind of explained it.
Yeah.
We not in right.
You know,
That's okay,
There you
just,
go.
that's why it's important to come to training, as much training as you can, as is possible, as well as to the, meetings on Tuesday. We share practices on Tuesdays, and to be in the office as much as possible. It's critically important.
I think one of my ahas was figuring out like what my 3 lead sources are gonna be for the year. Like looking at this list and what am I going to do? And sticking to that plan.
I would say don't stress it that much. Because if you stress, it's gonna cause you to stop. It's gonna cause you to freeze. You know what I'm saying? You just need to get into action. And you get into action by doing number one. What's your first one? More than that. More than that. More than Legion. What type of Legion? Calls. Make the calls. Start with making the calls. Start with one. Don't think about it so hard. Start with one. And be consistent. Start with one. Be consistent with that one.
And I think one thing I've been doing is definitely a change in mindset for me. Every single person I run into or meet, whether it's in a store, the guy dropping Puritan cleaner off, or whatever it is, like I now look at that person differently. I'm like, oh, let me have a conversation with this person, just a conversation, not about real estate. Let me interact with this person, so maybe something comes out of it. And regardless of who it is, where I am, like I'm just looking at people differently. You know, as opposed to like just putting your head down and going about your day. It's more, it's definitely more like intentional.
Yes.
Like I'm looking at people and saying, okay, this person could be a potential lead.
Yeah, because like we said, leads are everywhere. They're everywhere. So, and always have your name tag on. Always. Shane said, he said, oh, you're at Keller Williams. It's a conversation starter. Sometimes you don't even have to say anything. The name tag does it. Just say, hey, how you doing? It starts the conversation. So who hasn't ordered their name tag yet? Today, that's your homework.
What are we ordering?
Ask for juice. I forgot, I can't think of the name of the website, Magnus or something. Can you text Patrice? Can you text Patrice for me real quick?
I actually ordered a couple.
Yeah, text her for me.
The agent, there's
But it's a great place where she does it.
They have a variety of
Yeah,
stuff.
they have it on Scotland, like,
Scotland Rose Marketing,
are you on my KW? You're on my KW? I think you should be able to go into marketing and find.
Yeah, but
Oh,
text
there are a couple
Patrice too.
polos, couple KW polos, because I can wear those out and about.
But-
I ordered one on Amazon.
Text Patrice for me though, because I need her to give y'all direction, those specific directions. That's gonna be a homework assignment for her. So let's move on, because we only got less than 30 minutes left, but we didn't even get to 10 yet. Client referrals. But real quick, again, if you're in this business for the long haul, you're gonna constantly learn, constantly evolve. You're gonna be tweaking and figuring stuff out. You ain't gotta think about it that hard. If I could go back, I've learned so much being at KW. If I could go back, the most important thing is to be consistent what you're calling. Time block, whatever time that's gonna be, don't let anything get in the way of you making those 10 calls. And if your one goal for the rest of this year could be to formulate a habit, that's just it, just for the rest of this year. If you do nothing else, from this time to this time, I'm going to make 10 calls and document it and put it in command. I guarantee you'll have business the first part next year, if you do it consistently. Nothing else. Do that. Create the behavior consistently. You have to get out of the mindset of, I'm self-employed, I can wash TV, I can do my laundry. You're gonna be broke. And back to work. All the Cap One people, you was on the phones? Who was on the phones at Cap One? Or Bank of America, or somewhere on the phones? When you was on the phones, you had to be on the phones from this time to this time. You had to make calls back to back to back to back, period. When they said you can go to the bathroom, that's when you went to the bathroom. Your calls could be a certain amount of time. They timed the calls. Think of yourself. You're in the same position, but you're working for you. Make the calls. Those are multi-billion-dollar companies. Why? Because they got people making the calls consistently. Think of it that way. All right. So the next lead source that you will get to, and I found I'm now at a place in my business that my primary lead gen lever is referrals. But it takes time to get there. So what I constantly kept saying, people like to do business with people they know, they like, and they trust. So you will get to a place, if you are consistent and you have nurtured your sphere of influence, where people will refer you business. You want to stay top of mind of people. When people think of real estate, they think of you. Why? Because you have been calling them constantly. You have been emailing them. You have been in touch with them. But these are your people. These are your people. Yesterday got a phone call from somebody that I met. I don't know where I met this person. 2 years ago. Their dad died, and the brother was staying in the house, and they thought they were gonna sell 2 years ago. And 2 years later, now they're gonna sell the house. Every lead, every contact is a lead. You need to stay in touch some kind of way. Because even though they're not doing something today, does not mean that 2 years from now, they will. Okay? Any questions? All right. Client referrals. So these are previous clients, and I separate my clients as you get into business and you get into command. You might segment your clients. I have my VIPs and I have my clients. My VIPs, you can choose how you do it. Some people do A, B, and C, different segments. I have my VIPs. My clients and my people who are close to me are called team, and we are team intentional. My VIP team intentioners they referred me business and bought a house over $400,000. So whether that referral has closed or not, just a matter that they thought enough of me to refer, those are my VIPs. They get special treatment. Okay? So, but for everybody, your client referrals, everybody have the KW app. So everybody that you have as a contact, you should be sharing that KW app with. And then we should also get in the practice of asking for referrals. So, just like asking for referrals and asking for business, if you don't ask and not have not, you shall be broke if you don't ask. You must be intentional. Once again, if you were on the phone for Bank of America, Chase, Citibank, whoever, your job is to do what? Ask. Ask. Period. You sell houses. Ask. If you don't ask somebody else, they're gonna be selling that house. That's your job. You better ask. Don't be scared. You gotta be confident. You are providing the service that's needed. I can help you. I might not can help you now. I can help you later. I can help somebody you know. And if I can't help you with selling the house, I know awesome contractors. I can help you with that. Let's see. Agent to agent referrals, we touched on this a bit. I get a good piece of business from agent to agent referrals. We refer across the globe. Great thing about Keller Williams is that we have over 120,000 agents. And that's another great thing about going to the conferences. At the conferences, you get to meet these top agents intimately, and you want to seek them out so that they know you, you know them, and you share their information, and you share referrals across the country. You see, there's a way to go into Command and see how people are migrating. Who is migrating into Richmond? You know, it's people moving from the Chesapeake, Virginia Beach area, from Northern Virginia, very close to here, that's moving. So you want to make friends with our sister brokerages in the area, as well as across the country, New York, DC, California, but there is a scientific methodology to look and see how are people migrating into. You can also look at the census and other different mechanisms and see how people are relocating to Richmond and make friends and be intentional, provide value to them, reach out to them. That's something else you could do. Once a week, make that part of your calls. Today, I'm calling 10 agents. That's part of my 10 calls today. Or if you gotta send out 5 note cards, how many note cards you gotta send out a day? 5 or 10? Huh? 10. Today, I send 10 note cards. These 10 note cards are going to agents. Send those 10 note cards out to the agents. Hey, just wanna let you know, I'm here to serve any referrals that you might have, any clients that you might have in the Richmond area. And I'd love to do a Zoom coffee with you or something to that nature. If you're ever in Richmond, I'd love to take you to coffee or take you to lunch or slip a $5 Starbucks coffee gift card in there. Let's schedule a phone call where we can talk more about how we can benefit each other. Make that one of your specific touches where you're doing specific activities where you're making calls or, writing no card. All right, so we touched on that. And this is how it looks in Command, where you go in to find out where people are migrating from. We touched on that, oh, business to business referrals. So I touched on business to business referrals earlier when I said, like, if you're gonna farm a particular neighborhood, you can also do this when you're going to do an open house. And if you're knocking doors in the open house, don't forget the businesses. Go out, scope out the neighborhood to the business and go to the business. Introduce yourself to the business owner. Let them know about the house where the open house is being hosted, and see how you can be of value to each other. And that's another way you can get business to business referrals. Okay? I think we're at the end of this. I think I might be in trouble. Farming, same thing, we touched on all of that. Oh, events and seminars. Events and seminars is another lead gen lever. Anybody thinking about doing any events or seminars? What's your idea?
My plan is to I just connected with Chase Bank, and we're gonna go into middle schools. And because my goal is financial literacy, I'm gonna do a financial literacy kind of, I guess, presentation to the teens in middle schools. But I know that I'll eventually need to connect with the teachers in that space too.
Okay, that's good. That's a long game.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
So I believe like the end of the month, with along those lines, my college is having like a alumni meetup group. The only bad thing is all the way in New York, so I'm on the time to see if I could go. But pretty much a lot of friends and a lot of professors that once were, well, they're tenured stuff, most of them are showing up. And I've been in contact with some of them, so I've been trying to see the time, and if I have time to really go up there, just work out a piece a day and then come back.
So that's not bad. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. So do that, nurture those relationships. Of course, let them know that you are in real estate. You can get referrals to agents that are in New York, right? We have, right here in Richmond, we have the PACE group. They have extended to New York. But if you know any other agents, there are agents in New York that you can refer to, as well as you can ask anybody thinking about relocating to Richmond or buying an investment property or a second home in Richmond. So right now, there is, most people have a huge amount of equity in their houses, huge amount, untapped equity in their homes. They can use the equity in their homes to purchase a second home or an investment property. And so the rate of return on that investment property would give them a higher rate of return than their 401k would. So that's something, that's great. You just gotta be able to sell it. Yeah.
There's a lot happening in the New York real estate market right now. They just like almost banned Airbnb. So you know, all of those investors,
Yeah.
who may be looking for exit strategies and things like that. So that'll be a good look.
Huge opportunity. So they're looking for another investment vehicle. You know, the properties are cheaper here. Use your equity and purchase in Virginia. Let me show you what we have to offer. Take some listings there with you. This is what we have available. This is what 250,000 can buy you. This is move-in ready, 350,000. This is what the return on investment is. This is what your rent would be. You can rent this. That's so much opportunity. Yeah. All right. Let's see. What about events? Anybody have any idea on events and how that could be a lead gen lever?
There's a Spanish festival happening this Saturday that we're gonna go set up and just be open to the public.
All right, because it's Hispanic Heritage Month, right?
I'm not sure, I have to. Okay, nice,
Yes, that's awesome. That's awesome. So how are you gonna capture and keep the leads and nurture and follow up?
I mean, so our plan is to have our laptops there and input the information as people come in. And, we'll figure it out.
You giving away a prize or something?
We're giving out like our team hats and shirts and pens, you know, the fun stuff, just like free stuff, so. Yeah.
I challenge you to take that deeper and to create something to raffle off. Like say, if they are selling, so we want to go after target listings.
Right.
If they are selling, sign up for a raffle, get something of value that people want. Because you want to really, really focus on those leads. You want them and focus on them first. You want everybody's stuff.
Yeah.
But those are the ones, that's your goal right there. Yeah. Okay, what you got, Shane?
I'm working on organizing, like a cleanup, trying to kind of figure out the area of like a park or Belle Isle or something. I've got a buddy that, has a food truck, so he's gonna be part of it and kind of like sponsor it as, you know, my business. Maybe get like a banner or something that I can, you know, post up so that my face and, you know, I'm out there. And we're gonna have like bags where like if you bring a bag of trash or whatever, you get like, you know, free chicken sandwich or kind of working on the logistics, but I think that'd be a good kind of community outreach and like a win-win for everybody, so.
That's awesome, that's awesome, that's really good. So, you know, here at Keller Williams, we really, really embrace charitable giving and giving back to our communities. So that is right on target with the Keller Williams culture. And you can really, really use, command to help you to facilitate that and start marketing it early, and create all kinds of touch points with it, you know, marketing it early. If you could get people to sign up prior to get them on your list. If you can invite more vendors, but you want to constantly be marketing along the way, to drum up a lot of excitement around it. But that's a great caveat, and you can get a lot of touch points with that particular event, a whole lot.
I'm glad you think it's a good idea. That's reassuring. I'm working on like finding some more sponsors too and kind of like figuring out, making some flyers. I got a friend that does graphic design. So a lot of like people that I can kind of involve in it, that I think it could, you know, be a pretty big deal, so.
Think about, your proposed target date that you want to host it. If you can definitely get a lender involved, they usually spend money, around the cleanup, if you keep it around the cleanup thing, or if your goal is, environmental or green stuff, green space, clean energy, clean stuff, look for those type of sponsors. I think you'll have a phenomenal event. And if it's gonna be in the fall, if you wanna include some, if it's gonna be in a park and you include some fall activities, a hit is family pictures, which is really cheap too, really cheap. If you could get a photographer, even a hobbyist photographer, but that does really good editing, and will do it cheap for you, maybe 2 hours for $200 or something like that. Get a couple of bales of hay, that's really cheap from Tom Leonard or somewhere, a couple of pumpkins, set up the scene, and have families come out and have their fall pictures done, big hit. So you can add that into it. It could be a really, really
Let me know
nice
if you
event.
wanted to fall pictures, I've got a lot of material. You can-
Yeah,
like
my
backdrop
best friend.
scans.
Yeah, my best friend's a photographer. He actually did my headshots, so.
Yeah, I mean,
got
that would be a
good list
huge
of-
hit. Huge hit to incorporate that into it. It would be a huge event.
Cool. I hadn't thought of that, so that's a good thing to add into the mix.
Yeah, if it's gonna be fall. Yeah,
That could be, that's gonna be.
yeah,
It's in the works, I'll let y'all know.
yeah, yes, keep us posted. So, events, is a big thing that people incorporate into their lead gym lovers. Some of the bigger teams do them, maybe 4 to 6 times a year. They could be what we call micro events, which are small, smaller in scale or more intimate, or huge events, which of course the Pace and the Rucker teams, they do really big events with a couple hundred people there. I usually host one annual event, either it's around Christmas time or it's in the summertime. I'm not gonna say it's big, but it's not small either, but it's only one event, and I do what's called pop buys. Have y'all heard of what the term pop buys? Yeah, so I, like once a quarter, I pop by my client's home and, drop them a little something off just to let them know how much I appreciate them. And, I also adopt, a couple schools in the area and love on the teachers and the staff. So those are just some suggestions of things you can do, but again, you have to see what feels right to you, what's most comfortable for you. If you don't like doing something, don't do it, because you're not gonna be consistent. Yeah, this business, we're fortunate to be in a business where we can have fun. We can enjoy doing what we do. So, enjoy doing what you do. And finally, here's some last suggestions where leads could be in the grocery stores, coffee shops, your mechanic, your hairdresser, and like I said, your doctor's offices. So these are absolutely, if you go to the gym, man, that's a big lead source. It's 11:30, and I don't know, but I think, we're supposed to end at 11:30, are we not?
I think it's 12.
It's 12 o'clock? Okay, well, that's good. Okay. Cause we got another section. Hold on a second.
While she's figuring that out, if anybody is interested in an event, next Saturday is a mental health rally. I gotta figure out where it's at, but this station is still open. I'm asking how much a dinner table costs, but I don't know. But I do know registration is still open.
Okay, here we go. All right, this is session 10. And don't tell that we got off track. As you can see, I don't do the best with time. Your daily, so session 10 is all about keeping the leads. Now you've learned how to generate some additional leads, some different types of leads. So again, yeah, go through session 10 yourself. Okay, I'm telling you. Go through it yourself because we're gonna speed through it. Now, once you have gotten the leads, you gotta keep them. They serve no purpose. If you just met somebody, you got their name, and you do nothing with it. The fortune is in the follow-up. You have got to follow up. It is critically important that you follow. Now, a reminder of your daily success plan. So we've had 10 conversations today. I told you, I'm sure you heard a lot of things, but if you do have these 10 meaningful conversations every single day, document them, set them up on Smart Plan. I guarantee you'll have some kind of business the first quarter next year. Like I said, make sure they add it into command. Because if they don't get into command, you're gonna lose it. And as soon as you get the contact, you should put it into command.
So when we add them into command and like we had a conversation, we know that they are interested in buying in however many months, they become an opportunity,
They're a contact.
they are contact.
They're not an opportunity until you signed up via broker agreement.
Okay.
And they're not really an opportunity until they're under contract. That's when they're opportunity.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you get them in the smart plan?
Oh.
Maybe I'm overthinking, I might be overthinking.
Yeah, you're overthinking. Yeah.
There's a command training, like on the YouTube page, it's a lot of videos on there. So if you go to like our YouTube page, it's like in command, there was like a command training on there, and I've watched it like 4 times, so probably to watch it.
Yeah, me too. And isn't it Command Tech launch this week?
Oh, is it so?
I think so. If
Okay.
you have the calendar, Command Tech launch, Robbie teaches that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm. So that's where you can ask questions, actually. 10 handwritten notes a day. So how many times you've seen this in the last 2 weeks? 20? You should be doing it. 10-5-1 social media engagement. I gotta get better with that. And as you continue to have business, you'll get into appointments, agreements, and closings as we go along. But that's where you start. You should be building your database daily. All right, everybody knows about the do not call list. Follow it. You don't want to get sued. Keller Williams already is getting sued. All right, somebody read that.
I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship.
All right, let's stand up and read it together with vim, vigor, and vitality.
Engage.
1, 2, 3. I engage every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in a relationship with me. Yes, all right.
Amen.
Oh, we not role playing. We not role playing. We not role playing. Good. Cause I'm on the whole wrong thing. Now, how the hell? All right, Bobby. Excuse me, y'all on Zoom. Where is the other PowerPoint? Here we go. There we go. I gotta skip around. All right, now we're talking about following up with leads. In your participant guide, turn to lead follow-up. What's the difference between a lead and a contact?
Leads and we're ready to buy.
A contact is a two-point conversation. Lead is a 1 point, you're kind of letting them, you're communicating with them, but they haven't really engaged.
Yes. Does every lead go in command?
Yes.
Yes. Should you be following up with everybody?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
I need strong yeses.
Unless they tell you not to.
Yes. All right, what is lead follow-up? What does that look like?
if you sent them maybe a postcard in the mail or whatever, touch, you can call them and ask, did you receive it? And then just kind of fall into a more natural conversation from that.
Yeah, that's the version. What else? Give me another example.
I guess maybe a year passes, they bought their house and you can just call them and follow up, hey, happy anniversary, or, just stay in their mind.
Yeah. Somebody else.
Talk about like if the kids are graduating into high school, middle school, college, or birthday, birthday comes around, just, send a nice, letter or simple message on the social media, or text you like, congratulate on happy birthday, hope your family's doing well, let them, give them like more blessings to life.
What about somebody that you just met? What does the follow-up look like?
Maybe reaching out or sending an email or text the next day saying it's nice to speak to you. If you need anything or have any questions, I'm here to help, making sure they have my contact information.
Yes, and how do you obtain a piece of information that you don't have already?
You ask for it.
Right. Yes, absolutely. All right, so the life of a lead. So you're talking to someone and they tell you, I'm gonna buy, but interest rates are so high right now. I think I'm just gonna wait. I'm gonna wait till interest rates come down. Is that a good lead or a bad lead?
Good.
It's a good lead? What'd you say?
Probably not a hot lead, or like a warm.
Okay, do they go in your database?
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
How often you following up?
Maybe like once a week.
However many times my plan tell me to follow.
Okay, why you say once a week, Ashley?
Because they seem interested, they seem, maybe misinformed, or like, you need to like nurture them a little bit. So I think a special week kind of can ease them up and kind of gauge how it goes, like in a month maybe. And if it seems like it's not going anywhere, maybe we switch up to like every 2 weeks. So yeah.
Okay,
I think at least monthly, because you could even line it up with days like today, because today the Fed decides what they're gonna raise rates again, right? So if you know that's coming, then maybe you make a touch based on what happens today.
mhm,
You can say, it looks like, they're talking right now, so rates might be coming down soon. Or rates might be going up, now might be a good time to lock a rate in, before they get even higher next year.
very good.
Sometimes you find out that the rating is a little problem.
Right,
No, because you wanna kind of touch them to try to figure out, okay, what is your, is it because you don't have money to put down? Or you have so much debt, like, have you even talked to them yet? So just touching them to try to figure out, like, well, what is your need right now?
what is your motivation?
Because
What's
the
your
interest rates
problem?
are high, but if you.
You still gotta pay to
You
live
know, you
somewhere.
still gotta pay something somewhere, where you live at right now.
Very good, all very good responses. Okay. Lead follow-up framework. Think of leads that enter your database through lead generation as your possible business. Lead follow-up helps turn leads from possible business into probable business, with the end goal being a profitable business. The 2021 National Association of Realtors profile of home buyers, of home buyers and sellers details the opportunity that lead follow-up can provide to your business. They collected research that shows that when selecting an agent to use, 73% of buyers only talk to one agent. And 82% of sellers only contacted one agent. Since the data shows that most buyers and sellers only talk to one agent before deciding to do business with them, what will you do to ensure that you are that one agent? What will you do? So if people usually only talk to one agent, how do you become that one agent?
Stay in front of them.
Huh?
Stay in front of them.
stay in front of them, stay top of mind. Yeah. Somehow, you have to be the one that stays top of mind. What's the easiest way to do that?
Give me contact.
How?
Call and pick up the phone.
Calling is one way, but even easier than that is a smart plan. We provided the tools via command that's gonna automate it. Automate it. Send out a text, send out an email, automation. You ain't even gotta think about it. What they say, set it and forget it. Use command. Use command. You will stay top of mind. Somebody read this, please.
You are first or
Say it
second.
loud.
If you are first or second in their mind, you probably won't get the business.
You can hang it up. Y'all should be thinking about taking over territories. What territory is gonna be yours? Mhm. Yeah, how do you eat an elephant?
One bite at a time.
One bite at a time. Yeah. What's your small territory gonna be? Focus on that. Take it over. Win it. You ain't gotta take over all of Richmond, all of Chesterfield, all of Henrico. Take over a territory. Master it. If it's Brandermill, you are Brandermill's agent. Just imagine if you sold everything there. Whatever town, whatever subdivision, you are the agent of choice. Is that enough business for you? Right, right, it's enough. It's surely enough than what you're getting now, so it's enough. Master that. If you are making 10 calls a day consistently, and you are overcoming objections, and you master that, it's 248 agents here. If you are the one who can do that, do you think you will conquer a territory? Absolutely. How many of those 248 agents, how many think are making 10 calls a day? Less than who? Absolutely. Will you master and conquer a territory if you do that? Start today. Start today. You know how when you go to class, you start a new class and the teacher said, y'all all have A's. You have begun with an A. You're doing better than all the agents here. You win. You're winning now. You have the opportunity to come in here and blow everybody else out the water by doing the right thing from day one. So just start. Okay. Any questions? As I look at the clock. I'm probably gonna get in so much trouble. I'm gonna get in so much trouble, oh my God. All right. Just like your intention to be strategic with your lead generation efforts, you should be strategic with your lead follow-up. Being thoughtful about how you will follow up and leveraging the highest value touches that yield you the greatest result will help you convert leads at a highest level. So again, be intentional with everything that you do. What's gonna get you the highest result? The biggest bang for your buck? With follow-up. The fortune is in the follow-up. It is critical. How can you follow up most effectively and efficiently? What's the most effective, efficient way to follow up?
The smart plans.
Period. Automation is there for you. From day one, set each contact up on a smart plan. Be very, very, very methodical with your behaviors. Don't deviate it. Try not to deviate from your behaviors at all. Put that contact into command. You make the phone call, you document, smart plan. Make it a system. Make it a behavior. Make it methodical. Do it every single time. Don't deviate from it. I guarantee you will blow people out the water. Every time. Partner up with somebody. Ask them. You hold me accountable, I hold you accountable, but most of you gotta hold yourself accountable because people let you down. Who's doing this? Did you do your 10 calls today? Of those 10 calls, how many contacts did you put in command? You put 10 contacts in command? Let me see. What do we have to do? Inspect what you expect. Get an accountability partner. Let me see your 10. Do it every single time. Don't get up until your 10 are in there with all the pieces. The contact information, the note. You need to know what you're talking about. They just had a baby. That's important. They just got divorced. That's important. Somebody died. That's important. Somebody's relocated. It's important. You need the notes. Make sure it's in there. Don't get up. Don't move on to the next thing. Take 2 minutes, put the notes in. Then immediately a smart plan. Neighborhood nurture. Missing email. That's the next call. That's your next conversation. Just call and touch base with you. Oh, how's the weather? How's family? Blah, blah, blah. Bull crap. Oh yeah, I noticed. I'm sending out my monthly newsletter and I don't have your email. I've got to get your email in here. Yeah, send a phone call. And oh, by the way, in my email, I have this great list of contractors that I have vetted out. These are my Be Intentional approved contractors. I only send you information with the contractors that I have vetted. I use them myself. But I need your email in order to send you this list. Do you have somebody you can recommend that we can include, that you trust, that does great work? Because we only use people that do absolutely phenomenal work, gives phenomenal customer service. Do you have anybody that you can recommend that we can add to this list? That's the conversation. And oh, by the way, you know anybody in the market to buy or sell a home? Buy it, have it. That's it. Any questions? All right, here is our touches. These 19 touches. 4 touches is your quarterly phone calls. 12 touches, that's once a month. Your emails or newsletters, market reports or video. Everybody loves videos nowadays. That's the thing. You gotta do a video. If you don't like putting your face out there, it's too bad. You're a realtor, you gotta do it. You gotta do it. You have no choice. If you wanna stay relevant and not be a dinosaur, you gotta do it. 2 touches. Promotional direct mail, such as magnets, printed market reports. I personally, everybody again does things their own way. I hate doing things that are so cliche that everybody else does. I hate those stupid calendars that people want to put on the refrigerator. I hate them. Absolutely hate them. But some people love them. And in that call I was telling you about, Pivot Shift Ahead, they said they've gotten business from years back where people say, I called you because I get your calendar every year. So although each time they've been calling these particular people, the people never respond, right? They don't answer the person, but they keep calling consistently, never respond. But then the customer, like years later, calls them and say, hey, I want you to sell my house. Why? Because for 10 years, I've been getting your calendar every year. Yeah, that's why. And then one annual party or event. So these are leads. So they only get invited to the one event. They don't get invited to the two events. They don't get the VIP event and the regular event. They only get the one big one, maybe with the pictures. They don't get the shishi for events with the champagne and caviar and the live band. They don't get that. That's for the VIPs. Okay? There's different levels to events. And so contacts get connected to more often because they are more likely to give you business either directly or through referrals. So that's the 36 touches. Okay? You understand why you want to connect with them more often? You don't want to let them slip it through the cracks. They've already proven to you. You know that they're going to give a business. It's just a matter of time. Okay. Lead follow-up. All right, considerations for your lead follow-up. What are my strengths when working with people? How can I adapt my 19 touches to connect and represent me? You know, what can I do to make sure that it's representing me well? What are some reasons I might have for contacting the lead? Think about that before you make your phone calls. Why am I making this phone call? Again, the contractor conversation is great. What was the one that you had just mentioned? Oh, today with the feds are meeting. So that is a strategic reason why you should be you could reach out to certain people. So be very, very strategic and intentional in your conversations. Try to think about it and prepare. Some people prepare the night before or when they close out their day, and set themselves up for their calls for the next day. So they know the 10 people that they're gonna call tomorrow, and this is the topic of those conversations that we're gonna have. And those calls are not, your lead gen calls are separate from your follow-up calls. That's two different things. Lead gen and follow-up are two different things. Lead gen is lead gen. Right? We understand that. Follow-up is follow-up and lead gen is lead gen. That's separate and apart. And you time block for each. So just for example, I lead gen between 9 and 11. Period. Everything else comes after that. Follow-up, appointments, seminars, whatever, it's after that. Okay. Design your annual 19 touch plan throughout the year. Some people put their calendars out and they make a whole design. They schedule things out. We do what's called the DTD2. You've heard about that, I'm sure. And I use the DTD2 because I went to bold. You separate your calls out alphabetically throughout the year and you touch each letter in the alphabet each quarter. And so it makes it easier for you to call those specific people. One of those touches that you could do 12 months could be those birthday cards. That's easy. Once you close on some homes, you'll have anniversary cards. That's easy. again, market reports. And those birthday cards and anniversary cards can be scheduled in, Command also. And so things of that nature. All right, when you have generated the lead and captured their information, you can then talk to them. If you haven't heard back from them and you don't know much about the person, then your communication will be broader. Focusing on a range of values, this is where you communicate your value with your own value. You can use company or personal stats to connect the conversation. People are more likely to respond when the message or communication feels personal and relative to them. So again, this is why I say connect with people that you know first. As you engage with your leads, you can uncover how to serve them better and learn what they're interested in. If you learn this, you segment your leads into specific groups. And I talked briefly about segmenting. I segment my groups into my VIPs and non-VIPs. But as you go on, you'll learn more about that. But it is now 12 o'clock. So I am going to be respectful of your time. I'm gonna ask Patrice how she's gonna handle the rest of this so that you get the rest of this section, because I don't want you to miss it, because it's very important. But you guys have been great. I hope what you have learned so far. You have any questions for me from what we went over so far today? Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious about what has worked for you. You've been very successful. We talked about a lot of ideas, but what has been your most consistent flow of leads? If you feel comfortable sharing.
Of course. So again, making those calls to the people that I know. That, and I am a very, very social person, very social. And I belong to a lot of organizations and do a lot of charity work. So I do things that other people wouldn't do. I walk around with a flyer at like festivals. And I meet people at festivals and say, hey, how you doing? I'm Tara Adams, I'm your intentional realtor. Are you in the market to buy or sell a home? And I get leads that way. Yeah. I just walk up to people and for me, I'm comfortable doing it. I ran for office and I had to do it, and I tell myself I'm in campaign mode again, so it works for me. I don't, yeah, I'm not scared. I would rather do that than make phone calls. But I've gotten more business from making phone calls. So I do what works first, like in the gym, I do what works first. And then I do what I like to do afterwards. Yeah, so that, and then, but as I've been in the business longer, I've gotten repeat and referral business. So the large majority of my business now, like I said, comes from referrals. And that hit about maybe a year, 2.5. Yeah. Yeah, people start trusting you and seeing you as a credible realtor. They see you, oh, okay, she's doing it. Yeah, they see you as credible now. She knows what she's doing. Yeah. So has everybody made the announcement that you're a realtor? Have you gone on social media and announced, I am a realtor? And I don't see strong and confident.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. You need to consistently be saying that. I'm a realtor, I'm a realtor, I'm a realtor. Choose me, choose me, choose me. I'm selling. Show houses. Go to those houses and show them. Yeah.
I wanna know, okay, so once you get a lead or whatever, you put them into command, what smart plan are you setting them up for? Like, what's your go-to smart plan?
Neighborhood nurture.
Okay. And for that, you have to have the address, so, yes, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Or either their address or in the neighborhood that they're looking at.
Okay, you just put in that neighborhood and then set them, that's, okay.
Mhm.
You
Yeah,
do two of them within that plan, and let's say
I
someone.
haven't done two. I haven't done two. That's a Robbie question. Yeah. Did everybody sign in?
I don't think that-
Please sign in, because I want to make sure that Patrice gets you the name tag information. Thank you all for coming. I hope this was value added, and I'm gonna tell Patrice to finish off 10. There's a survey somewhere. Yeah, I'm doing her.
It's so crazy. So,
Thank you.
You are more than welcome. Thank you.
I was like ready to have a meeting. And, they were not giving any, like, they were not giving any green light. So, and so it kind of got to the point where like I felt like I didn't want to put myself out there like crazy. And I was willing for you to come in soon, and I let them know like, hey, we have 21 days to kind of get later on control, but y'all have a plan, and y'all are on the same page about like, proposing notice or anything. So what y'all gonna do? Are they scared? I don't know what it is, it's almost like they're not talking to each other, and I'm like, what's your motivation? So it's like, the main person was like, I was like, that's not their name, but the other two were with the TI, so they had like. So he. I just started going there. I've been before. The only way to do it is, you know, but it's like, I don't want to talk about it. Or did y'all want to sell?
Well, you're welcome. That's so welcome.
Did y'all want to sell it?
If y'all ever need anything, you know how to contact me.
I'm excited about this journey. I think I'm, if you have signed up, right, so I see you. I just got a horse into this favorite full time, so that's the gist of that.
So I didn't actually have y'all have to be. Just like I'm ready and we're ready. And then y'all can go, but we gotta. I can't make this go yet. See you later.
No, I'm trying to make it.
Oh, yeah. We went on the contract like that. Okay. But, like, is it the same person that? Yeah, it's, but so.
They kept that with light inspection.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Yes, so it was like.
well, you know, that's funny, because I mean, okay, and like the gutter. All of us, I mean, I knew of the gutter, but I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't quite, I'm like, okay. And it would be, I know, I think, right. Oh, so sounds like, okay. Thank you. Yeah, and so, we were going, like, she had, they were doing a certain thing. And which was, yeah, it's called trail, and they were like, they're heavy on it. I understand that. And so, I went to visit with her, that was her manager. They were kind of trying to back up. They were saying like, it's, Somebody cried, thank you so much. You know how to recall all of it. Like, yeah, like, and I'm like, no, yes, and he was like, well, the buyer has the right to, request inspection. Right, and I understand, but the thing is, I don't think y'all were talking to the buyer. The buyer, so, my mentor was like, well, technically, it don't really come in the phrase, right, because like, everything in this section is negotiable. Right, and that's the thing, so. unless you put a Zoom or like a clause in saying that you can get out, if you want to be for the inspection, that's the only way that you can get out. And so a week went by, and she was there, and so I had to text her, and I'm like, hey, but it just, and so she was gonna send me a different, another inspection with different stuff on it. Just like he's like, right, at first, the stuff that we had to add, they were thinking it was like a few years ago when I was out. I never went in there and asked. Yeah. So they were there when I was. Yeah, right. Yeah. So, yeah. Right, yeah. Like, okay, yeah. They were thinking so, right, on this new request, they didn't put it on there, so it doesn't like. Oh, it's not even making it. Right, but that's not the girl that somebody's there. She's like, just get the inspection, don't worry about it. So I got it, and then the stuff, then they, so the second one, they can't scare back in the right, but it's on the, actually on the, yeah, but I got it 6 inches. They want to right to the middle, right, that they actually informed everybody about it.
My best friend.
They just come in. Yeah, I got there, like, right, so I didn't like, and so she sent me like, and then she was like, yeah, I mean, I said, but we're still checking the trio, to see if they will accept like the, in fact, something that will be on the side or the night. Yeah, that's my question before we left. Yeah, and so, I told her I got.
Yeah, because
she said like, first place on like this hasn't been like a negotiation, like this has been a, and I was like, it's really resolved. I haven't heard nothing from her until the appraisal, the appraisal, I don't know, some people have some, I'm excited, the sprayer in the kitchen. Like you pick it up. So I got to spray water on the kitchen. Well, I'm really trying to get high. Anyway, so they went to how, I didn't hear it, remember, we still haven't resolved the, inspection. The bias. It's okay, it's still like, right, that's a part of like their, okay, so the whole time I was like, oh, they're trying to get out the tree. Yeah. But then when I saw the, no, they were like, that's like April. Yeah. So I, oh, in that door. Yeah, because we just, they were on stage like that at the house. So you already said that's something. Yeah. First of all, I know I signed my paper. Okay, without any of that in it. Well, okay, but like after. Like forget. Yeah, just so yeah, it's really like oh my but that's what it's like. But I feel like it's like, I reached out to her, it was
as a person, just like hearing things.
Maybe like,
Or not saying your friend, but just something you
about the
know,
first,
and you see
yeah,
another person.
and, even when I find
And then only them.
Right, right.
Yeah, I'm more, I'm not out of date.
But so I'm like, if I don't see one, I really Oh, yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, she
It's to me, it's like just one thing I don't like still is cut mold and all. I'm not used to, I'm never saying it's probably the hottest. North, like I'm used to sunscreen. I I would love to. Luces actualizadas, que está. Pues the gasoline mark. I should turn on.
Yeah, I think she did.
I just sweat around the side.
Yeah. I didn't want to bother her. I didn't know. And she was
They used to be so bad.
I don't know.
They
I think she did. But I really think she just forgot.
That's like classic, like,
Because I talked to her about
I don't know why they did this. They just a big bin. That's the thing when it's so
I just want to. I'm door on and take it into the one.
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
The other one's more like
Out of
whatever, but I didn't know
Yeah, so they were consistent.
Certain.
They took it from my.
That's what she did. 'Cause I was like, yeah,